All right, I brought up measles on my last podcast, and I just want to just break down a couple of things that we should be reminding everyone. Of course, children should get the 2 live attenuated vaccines. If your kids have had those vaccines, and they've been available since the 90s, essentially, you're fine. Prior to that, in 70s and 80s, you probably ought to have the immunity documented with a blood test. If that's sort of you might want to talk to your doctor about that. If you were born 70s, 60s, late 50s, you really must get your immunity documented with a blood test. I personally was born in that 57 to 63 window when we didn't get adequate. The kind of vaccine really wasn't designed to last a lifespan, or at least it hasn't turned out that way. So I just retook the vaccine 3 days ago. And I may even get a second one since I'm a healthcare provider. Healthcare providers are supposed to get 2 vaccines. And if it's any question, I'll get the vaccine. It's harmless. It doesn't hurt. Obviously, pregnant women ought to be careful. People on steroids or with immune diseases, those sorts of things. Talk to your doctor, no matter what. Talk to your physician. But we need to be vaccinated because although people can look at these outbreaks that we're having recently and say, oh, it's just 5 cases, just 20 cases, it's localized. Yes, an outbreak is defined by a change in the distribution of a disease in location and temporality. I mean, all of a sudden there's a change in one location over a specified period of time. Could be 3 cases, could be 5 cases, could be 5,000 cases. It's the change that we jump on. That's not an epidemic, it's an outbreak. Measles is so contagious. You literally could, someone with measles can walk through the produce department of the grocery store. You could walk through a couple hours later. You will get it. You will get it if you're not properly immunized. My greatest fear is that it's going to get into the homeless population. If it does, this is going to be a massive, massive problem. And as the viral load in the community rises, even people with partial immunity will not be able to keep off this disease. So discuss with your doctor, document your immunity. It's really not only you responsible to you and your family, but you've got to be responsible for the rest of us. You have a responsibility to not just take care of yourself, of course, and your family and protect yourself, but by protecting yourself, you are protecting the community you live in. That's part of the responsibility of being a citizen and living in a concentrated environment we call a city or a civilization. And why we've decided we don't have that responsibility to our fellow citizen is shocking and unconscionable to me. So take care of business, do what you got to do to protect yourself, your neighbor, your community, and to stay healthy. So and by the way, it's all on the CDC website, Centers for Disease Control. Consult that. There's a whole measles section there, and so you can read about what I was saying here about what category you're in, and whether you should go get your immunity checked or take the vaccine.